Our world needs us. It needs all of us to pay attention, to plug in, to commit, to tap into the powerful network of minds, ideas, and possibilities that are gathered right here. Because the stakes are higher than ever. Food insecurity, climate change, access to healthcare. These are the critical issues technology has the power to solve. The kind of tech that is already emerging around us, impacting every industry, every city, and every home. But these aren't just exciting new technologies we're talking about. These are solutions, powerful innovations, and most of all, hope. We're hopeful because the moments we spend right here might be some of the most important moments of the year. This is a chain reaction that begins now and affects everything, from the sustainability of this world to the exploration of others. Yes, the tech we'll see at CES will impress and astound us. It will also motivate us to innovate our way to a healthier, more sustainable world. But this kind of transformation requires our full attention, everything we've got. So be ready, be engaged, be inspired, be in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of the Consumer Technology Association, Gary Shapiro.
Thank you so much. And I want to welcome you to CES 2023, especially if you've been gone for a while. How many of you have not been here in 3 years? Wow. And I want to especially thank those of you that were here last year in 2022. You know, this is the first CES not only in the new post-pandemic or live with pandemic era, but it's also the first time we actually have a theme. And that theme is focused on what technology can do to make the world better. In fact, we're partnering with the United Nations Trust Fund for Human Security and the World Academy of Art and Science to support a campaign called the Human Security for All campaign. And what that does is it shows how tech innovations can protect human securities, or as we actually call them, human rights. Think about it. What kind of human securities or rights should there be? And the ones that are there that they've recognized and we're promoting are fundamental to just basic existence as humans. Clean air and clean water. Food, the right not to be hungry. Health care, everyone should be entitled to health care. Community engagement, political involvement. These are things which the United Nations and others have identified as saying these are basic human securities or rights. And the great thing about them is technology can play a difference in making that happen. But first, let's take a closer look.
For many people, today's world is insecure, full of threats on many fronts. Violent conflicts, natural disasters, persistent poverty, epidemics and economic downturns endanger peace, stability, and sustainable development. These threats are no longer isolated events limited to national borders. Their destruction travels the globe with great consequences on all societies. We cannot face these insecurities alone. We need to rise above our national and individual differences as one human family, with human security for all. Human security is a people-centered view of what it means to be safe and secure. Faced with unprecedented challenges, the world requires urgent responses and innovative solutions. Next-generation and human-centered technology carry the potential to reshape our future. Join us on a mission to bring human security for all through technology. Let us rise together to reach our potential and leave no one behind.
What's great about CES, it's where you can see innovations which promise actually to change our world and make it better. And you can see those innovations in so many different areas. Innovations in mobility, digital health, artificial intelligence, robotics, food technology, smart home, digital assets, and so many other areas. Think about how agriculture technology is fighting world hunger, making food production easier and more sustainable. You'll hear a lot about that this morning. How about smart devices which reduce energy use in our homes and in our cities, and they change how we generate and actually store power. You'll see these on the show floor. And think about accessibility technology. This is technology which actually helps millions of people with disabilities go beyond their doorsteps. And then there's AR and VR, which brings experiences from around the globe to our schools and to our home. And then there's technology that's delivering access and accountability, making our world greener for generation after generation in the future, and enhancing our human capacity to create. Think of ChatGPT, which has written every word I just said. Not really. There's a wonderful lady standing behind the curtain there who's helped me with that. I would now like to introduce someone who is directly responsible for technology that's making our world a better place. The chairman for the last, I think it's 5 days, of CTA's executive board and founder of The Source, Dr. Carmichael Roberts. Dr. Roberts is founder and managing partner of the venture capital firm Material Impact, and that name means something to him, I know that, because he wants an impact that's dedicated to, as he puts it, solving big human problems with deep technology companies powered by material science. Carmichael is also a key leader of Breakthrough Energy, which was founded by Bill Gates to support companies tackling the threat of climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Carmichael Roberts. Thank you so much, Carmichael, for joining us. It's all yours.
Thank you so much, Gary, for that kind introduction. 5 days on the job. It's been a pleasure to work with Gary. We've been good friends for many years, and truly it's an honor to be the chair of CTA in this calendar year. Now, we all know CES is well known as the conference to launch some of the most innovative, groundbreaking, disruptive ideas for consumers, but for large businesses, both small and big. But CES is especially important as a platform that introduces technology to transform the world. I mean, really solving human problems. And as Gary mentioned earlier, no question, one of those problems is access to clean drinking water. One of the most essential resources in the world is water. I mean, honestly, second to the air we breathe. And yet over 2 billion people worldwide, 2 billion with a B, worldwide, don't have access to clean drinking water. That's unbelievable, and frankly, I'm sure for all of us, unacceptable. It certainly was for me. Which motivated me to work with Professor Cody Friesen to launch a company called Source. This is a company on a mission to make water poverty a thing of the past. It has a technology called a hydro panel, which makes drinkable water from renewable sources powered by the sun. Now, the main product was launched here at CES many years ago, and today is in more than 50 countries and every continent other than Antarctica. But I want to give you a closer look at this technology and its impact on local communities. In doing so, I want to emphasize a project that is fairly recent in East Timor. Now, this one happens to be in a partnership with Starbucks, which is core to these small companies' business models, certainly for Source. That is, working with some of the largest companies from all around the world, little companies with large companies. This is how we solve these problems. And in this particular case, to address water scarcity on a global scale. So let's take a look at Source.
Thank you so much, Carmichael. This is truly inspiring work. You know, I was inspired a few decades ago when I attended my first board meeting of the association, and the discussion there was about how much we should charge for exhibit space at CES. And the largest exhibitors were around the table, but I remember the chairman, who was with Panasonic, Ray Gates, said, you know, we have to make this show accessible so anyone with a good idea that they create in their garage or with their friends, that they can have access to the thousands of retailers, the investors, the media that come from around the world. And that has stuck with me, and that has been part of the cultural DNA of the Consumer Technology Association since. And that's how we run this show. It's really, in a sense, for the smallest company with an idea. And that's what makes Eureka Park so important, where we have over 1,000 different startups from around the world. And what we heard and we learned about our own constituency from CES 2022, for those of you who were there, which was there's about 44,000 people there, was how important this event is to the smallest companies and the mid-sized companies globally, because it makes their year or not. We also learned that the people that come to the show really value what we do online as well, and that's why we've doubled how long we're keeping it online for 60 days. So you can access our CES platform, many of you in this audience, through the end of February. But really what makes CES important and allows companies to do business is what makes us human. It's what we learned about during COVID itself. We learned that we need this human connection with each other. We learned that we need people. We need to look people in the eye, have a cup of coffee, have breakfast, basically to see if we can have a relationship that builds a business, or we can get new ideas together, we could brainstorm. It's also about what you can only get at a trade show or a business meeting, or even in an airport, arguably, is serendipity, is discovery. You can discover something or somebody that you do not know. And that's very difficult to do. As much as I am the paid cheerleader for the tech industry, and I think all these video conferencing platforms are great, and we've certainly used them, it's much more difficult to do online than it is to do in person. So to share more about what's happening at CES this week, I'd like to welcome two new faces to the CES stage. Not new faces to me at all, because Kinsey and John have played critical roles in growing and building CTA and CES over the past 15 years. So please welcome Kinsey Fabrizio and John Kelly.
Welcome, everyone. It is so great to be here. You heard from Gary about the tech that's solving big global challenges. Now I'm going to give you a few examples from the CES show floor. Did you know that in the United States alone, over 100 billion pounds of food is wasted every year? That's about 130 billion meals. Well, the good news is the tech industry has been paying attention. Food waste? Meet Aurora, a smart device that can nearly double the shelf life of fresh foods. As you heard from Carmichael, water waste is another global challenge that the tech industry is tackling. Every day, more than 45 million cubic meters of drinking water are lost in the world's water systems. That could serve nearly 200 million people, and that's not sustainable. It's a quantity we can't afford to waste. According to the UN, worldwide demand for water will exceed our water supply by 40% within the next decade. And that is why we are so excited about Clean Water Pathfinder, an autonomous robot that lives inside utility pipes and can help cities identify repairs to water infrastructure. Now, let's think about voting, a key foundation of our democracy. Well, ZK voting could usher in a whole new era for elections, offering voting on the blockchain and guaranteed secrecy, all through an app on your phone. These are just 3 of the thousands of incredible innovations that you'll find right here on the CES show floor. And they happen to be 3 of our CES Innovation Award winners. But as we all know, CES isn't just about new products, though those are pretty great. It's also a platform for discussing some of the biggest issues facing our industry. And nobody knows that better than John. So John, tell us more about the big themes we'll hear this year at CES.
Well, thanks, Kinsey, and that's right. At CES 2023, we're bringing together hundreds of the smartest and most influential voices on tech trends and tech policy, with more than 200 conference sessions over the next 4 days. Now, these sessions will mirror some of the fastest growing categories on the show floor, like digital health, mobility, food tech, smart home, the creator economy, and more. Can't get enough White Lotus? Well, head over to the ARIA for a deep dive on the future of television and streaming. Want to hear what experts are saying about the future of self-driving? Watch our transportation and mobility sessions at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Do you want to know when the robotic kitchens of the future will be a reality in your kitchen? Well, join our Kitchen of the Future conversation right here in the Venetian. And don't forget Central Hall, home to our new Web3 studio with the latest and greatest in gaming, metaverse, and video, alongside some of the world's most iconic brands. Now, we're also thrilled to welcome a fantastic lineup of keynote speakers. Last night, you heard from Oliver Zipse, chairman of the board of BMW, on what the future of mobility looks like. We also heard from AMD CEO, Dr. Lisa Su, on how AMD's cutting-edge technology is solving big challenges, empowering and advancing in scientific research, healthcare, and gaming. And in keeping with the huge growth in our automobile and mobility segment, we're thrilled to welcome Stellantis CEO, Carlos Tavares, to this stage later this afternoon. And Delta Airlines CEO, Ed Bastian, as part of our C-Space keynote over at the ARIA later this morning. And that's not all. Tomorrow, Gary will join NASDAQ CEO and chair, Adina Freeman, on the Great Mind stage for a deep dive on democratizing capital markets. We'll also host keynote conversations on the future of healthcare and the changing face of entrepreneurship. Now, CES has long been a destination for congressional leaders, and we're excited to host conversations with several members of Congress alongside leaders from half a dozen government agencies, including Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm. Now I'm going to hand it back over to Gary for more on what's happening on tech policy. Thank you.
Thank you, John and Kinsey. It's great to see you on this stage. You know, our role as a trade association, a nonprofit based in the Washington, D.C. area, is to make sure that government policies promote rather than hinder innovation and growth. I talked about the 1,000 startups in Eureka Park. Fact is, there's no shortage of ideas, and they don't come from just one place in the world. They're global. And what we need for that are low barriers to entry for anyone. Certainly, big companies want the small companies there. Small companies want to get in, and it's a nice ecosystem between the two because they both have great ideas that deserve to come to marketplace. And it's not a matter of saying we don't want legislation or regulation. We need regulation. We need regulation which sets the ground rules so you don't have to go to the government to ask for permission before you create something. We need rules that allow competitive markets, but don't protect existing competitors. Sadly, the United States Federal Trade Commission has shifted away from decades of bipartisan support for a standard that was simply what is the best for the consumer when we're evaluating antitrust issues like acquisitions. And it's shifted to a new standard, what's best to protect the existing competitors, which is the actual antithesis of innovation, the antithesis of a free market system, and the antithesis of getting to a more innovative economy. And it will hurt our US leadership, we believe, and I've heard this from not only the biggest companies, but the smallest companies. And it hurts the small companies because they want to be able to invest and they want to be able to get the money they need for investment. Being sold to a big company is one of the ways you exit. The other one is going public, and the third way is through just growing, and you can make money as an investor that way. But mostly it's through acquisition. And one of the things, and this is a global audience, and I want to respect that, we should be celebrating our companies that do well, not trying and going out of our way to punish them. And that's something which is true. Of course, as I said, we need regulations, platforms. There's a lot of issues. They're being discussed around CES. But the fact is these principles apply not only in the United States, they should apply everywhere. Every country should be helping its innovation, its innovative entrepreneurs, because competition does benefit everyone everywhere. And anyone should have the right to come in as a new competitor. And that's why what we do at CTA is we actually evaluate countries as to how innovation-friendly they are. And we have a new addition to doing that. We did it in 2019, and we're doing it, it's called the International Innovation Scorecard. And we apply principles which are admittedly American-centric, like we value liberty and human rights as one of the components of innovation, because we feel people with certain basic human rights are those more likely to innovate. Same thing like clean air and clean water. Diversity, which is obviously something very important in the United States. Broadband, research and development, things like that, we look. Now this scorecard is basically looking at what we believe fuels the fire of innovation, specific government policies, or are there policies which stand in the way of progress? Of course, the world has changed since 2019, since we first did this scorecard, and we had no idea what those changes would be. But I think innovation thrives in chaos, and certainly the pandemic has pushed a lot of more innovation around the world. We see that that's why this show floor is so full, especially in so many areas like healthcare tech. The 2023 International Innovation Scorecard captured this surge as the tech industry responded in a very big way. In fact, this year we're recognizing a record number of top-tier, what we call innovation champions. Let's take a closer look.
Since 2019, the Consumer Technology Association has produced the International Innovation Scorecard, leading the world in ranking countries on their commitment to fostering an ecosystem driving innovation. Innovation typically means a new method, idea, or product. But what makes an innovation champion? It's when technology and policy come together to fuel transformation for a country and its people. This new class of innovation champions reflect the art of what's possible and are finding new ways to solve the world's biggest problems. Congratulations to this year's Innovation Champion winners. We can't wait to see what you do next.
Please welcome the 2023 International Innovation Champions. Representing Austria, Deputy Minister Florian Turski. From Belgium, Consul General Ambassador Gunther Sluwagen. From Canada, Canadian Consulate Head of Office Ramneet Saran. From Estonia, Consul General On Hani. Representing the European Union, Director of the European Innovation Council, Jean-David Malot. From France, Minister Delegate of Digital Transition and Telecommunications, Jean-Noël Barrot. From Germany, Federal Minister for Digital and Transport, Dr. Volker Wissing. Representing Israel, Consul General, Dr. Hillel Newman. From Lithuania, Consul General, Laima Juravichina. Representing the Netherlands, Special Envoy Tech Lead, Prince Constantijn van Oranje. From Norway, Consul General, Gry Rabbe Henriksen. From Switzerland, Swiss Ambassador to the United States, Jacques Piclou. Representing the United Kingdom, His Majesty's Trade Commissioner for North America, Emma Wade Smith.
I think we move in a little bit. Thank you all. Congratulations to all our innovation champions, and thank you for supporting world-changing technology. So as you walk the halls of CES, I ask each of you, think about it. Reflect on the amazing innovations that are already on display throughout the many, many halls of this event. Think about the promise they offer, and think about what is to come. So welcome to CES 2023. We're officially starting now with our morning opening keynote. It is my pleasure to introduce our opening keynote speaker, John Deere CEO, John May. You know, I talked to John before today's keynote a few times, and he told me that when the company first came to CES as an exhibitor in 2019, the biggest question asked of them was, why is John Deere here? But that year and since, Deere delivered a clear answer, showing its commitment to innovation in the equipment and data that supports farming around the globe and throughout the year. You know, in its first year at CES, John Deere showed off the tech in its harvesters and sprayers. Last year, John Deere's fully autonomous tractor was an amazing hit in our outdoor space. I went by several times, it was always full. It was also a tractor with a purpose, though. It was feeding a growing world. Today, you're going to hear how John Deere addresses so many different challenges. For every single one of us to survive, we need access to food and land that can grow it. And without both, our lives and the survival of future generations are at risk. This is something the leaders of the G20 recognized in their declaration just a couple of months ago. Now, under John May's leadership as CEO, beginning in 2019, the company's market capitalization has more than doubled, exceeding $100 billion for the first time. He has also served as a key member of John Deere leadership for over a decade, including working to develop the Deere family of smart machines, systems, and solutions. John Deere is changing the future of farming. I thought I was going to get hit by that tractor. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming John Deere Chairman and CEO, John May.
Well, thanks, Gary, and thank you all for joining us here in person and on the live stream. I'm incredibly honored to be on stage representing everyone at John Deere, including our employees and dealers around the world. You won't find two industries that have a larger impact on our world and all of us than agriculture and construction. These industries are driven by John Deere's innovative, cutting-edge technologies that help our customers be more efficient and sustainable as they ensure the world has the food, fuel, fiber, and infrastructure that we all need to thrive. You may know John Deere because of our green and yellow tractors, but what you may not be aware of is how we've been leading innovation for 186 years. It began when our founder, John Deere himself, invented the first self-scouring steel plow. This cultivated some of the most productive land in the U.S. In 1918, John Deere replaced horses with engines. We launched our first two tractors, the Waterloo Boy and the John Deere tractor. Then in 1947, John Deere introduced its first self-propelled combine harvester, which merged three very time-consuming jobs for our farmers: cutting, shelling, cleaning their crop. Then in 1958, Deere invented the first all-hydraulic bulldozer. It featured a new 6-way power tilt blade, which gave them precise control over the job they were doing. Since then, John Deere has been continuously innovating and investing to help farmers and contractors do their jobs even better. And we've expanded beyond agriculture into earth moving, road building, and even backyards around the world, bringing the same innovations to help our customers solve their biggest challenges. When I began working in this industry 25 years ago, everyone focused on equipment and making that equipment larger and more powerful. At that time, the bigger the equipment was, the more efficient it was in a field, building a highway, or at a construction site. This is fundamentally changing. Today, farming, construction, and road building is less about the size of the machines and more about technology, intelligence, and sustainability, both economic and environmental. That's why in February 2022, we announced John Deere's LEAP ambitions, which are focused, measurable goals aligned across our customers' operations. These ambitions are designed to boost economic value, productivity, and environmental sustainability for our customers for the rest of this decade and beyond. Our deep understanding of the way our customers do business is what gives us the necessary insights into the challenges they face and the opportunities to use technology to create value. This is not new for John Deere. As I mentioned, we've been using technology to solve challenges for nearly 200 years and continue to innovate and move industries forward year after year. Today, John Deere leverages a vast tech stack to give our machines superhuman capabilities. This begins with our equipment, more than 500,000 John Deere connected machines that run across more than a third of the Earth's land surface. You might want to think of them as robots that precisely execute jobs in the land, on roads, and at construction sites. Within these machines, we've integrated displays with embedded software, GPS hardware with precisely signal correction, machine learning, cloud computing, and one of the leading digital platforms in the agricultural industry, the John Deere Operations Center. Each one of these technologies brings unique and specific benefits to our customers. Last year at CES, we went a step further and introduced the world's first fully autonomous tractor, featuring sensors, computer vision, and much of the technology I mentioned. These tractors aren't concept vehicles. They're real and are being used on farms today. If this sounds like a lot of technology, it is. But this is more than just the technology. This is about our customers, farmers, construction crews, and road builders. They're the ones who do the work every single day of every single year to provide for all of us. Today, we're going to show you how our technology is helping one of our key customer segments, farmers, execute their jobs more efficiently and sustainably. And I know that some of you are wondering, why should you care about farmers when they represent less than 2% of the US population? It's farmers from across the world who undertake the enormous task of growing the food, fuel, and fiber we all need. They are ensuring that we not only have what we need today, but that future generations do too. This requires taking care of one of the most precious resources we have, the land.
My great-grandfather was a freed slave. Not only did he receive his freedom, but the British force gave him 320 acres of land.
My father started as a farmer. He started raising rice in the late 60s. Farming and agriculture and rural way of life was always kind of part of my background.
My dad was a real farmer. Now I've got my son farming with me, and I wouldn't want to farm without him.
Land to me, in my upbringing, is everything. We protect our land.
It's not necessarily a feeling, it's a smell. That smell of the earth and dirt, and it brings back those memories of a child growing up, riding around on the turn roads with my father.
Our living come from what we produce on the land. So we have to take care of the land so we can be the most productive.
I think all farmers have a personal feeling with their land. I just know that.
I think all humans are connected to the land more than they realize. Whether it's the clothes that you wear or the food that you eat, I mean, you're touching agriculture daily.
No, I enjoy doing things with my hands, enjoy watching things grow, enjoy overcoming a challenge. I love farming. Our sons, they love to farm. So we're just blessed and thankful to do what we love doing.
You have to love something and have it in your soul to want to keep pushing forward and keep waking up every morning and saying, I'm doing it again.
I can tear up real quick talking about this land that we own.
Knowing that we are helping put food on the table for our own families, but also for the families around the world, it's a spectacular feeling.
I think the next generation is going to take care of it and treat it just like we did. Cherish it and make it work for them too. You got to give back to the land what you take out of it, and it's going to take care of you.
As you can see, taking care of the land is both something our farmers are passionate about and something they need to do to ensure the land is productive today and for future generations. When you sit down for your next meal, I want you to think about a farmer. Their work starts the process of growing the food that many of us only see in a grocery store or delivered to our front doors. Farmers face a lot of challenges because agriculture is an unpredictable business. From changing weather patterns to volatile markets and labor shortages, farmers must deal with countless situations throughout the year that impact their business. And any one of those factors can affect the food that is available or unavailable for all of us. And that's the biggest challenge they face, feeding all of us. Over the next 25 years, the global population is expected to grow from 8 billion people to nearly 10 billion people. This requires us to produce 50% more food as both population grows and diets change around the world. But it's not just about growing more. The amount of U.S. farmland has been declining over the past 40 years, and this trend will likely continue as the population continues to increase. So more people, less land. The math doesn't work. That is the big picture. And that is why I'm standing on this stage today. In the past, farmers would grow more by using more. Bigger machines, more horsepower, more seeds, and more nutrients. This approach alone doesn't work today. There's less arable land, less rural labor, less time to do their jobs due to weather volatility and rising input cost. Technology is the solution to these challenges. Technology allows farmers to create more with fewer resources. Doing more with less. That is the path forward to providing for all of us and feeding our growing world. And that's why at John Deere, we're focused on what's real. Real purpose, real technology, real impact. Our purpose is simple. We run so life can leap forward. That means empowering our customers to have an economically and an environmentally sustainable business that provides for themselves and their families while ensuring food security for the world. If you visit our booth during the show, the technology you'll see and hear about is real. It's either being used by customers now or it'll be used soon at scale. And by the end of this keynote, the impact should be clear. Farmers are the bedrock of our world. They take on grueling, unpredictable work that is essential for all of us. During the rest of our time together, I want you to think about this. John Deere is not only a manufacturing company. We've quickly become one of the world's leading robotics and AI companies. Our solutions leverage technology like computer vision, advanced sensing and compute, machine learning, and data analytics to enable farmers to do so much with limited resources they have. And the technology and innovation that John Deere will bring to the market over the balance of this decade will rival the transformation that took place when John Deere first began making tractors more than 100 years ago. Now, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Deanna Kovar, who leads product strategy for John Deere Agriculture globally. She's going to tell you more about the purpose behind our technology, which helps farmers every single day.
What an awesome way to get us started. As you can see, in agriculture, efficiency and sustainability go hand in hand. And at John Deere, we're creating technology that serves a real purpose, to help our customers grow more with less through precision and data. And this technology is built on top of the decades of advancements that John Deere has been leading. In 1997, the same year companies were showing off desktops with CD-ROM at CES, John Deere began investing in GPS technology. In the early 2000s, we integrated this technology into tractors so they could drive themselves through the field within 1 inch of accuracy. This allowed farmers to take their hands off the wheel and focus on the critical elements of the job being done. That same decade, farmers used the same GPS technology to collect geospatial data on both the inputs they used throughout the year and the crops they harvested at the end of the year. Today, farmers in more than 100 countries are utilizing these GPS technologies at tremendous scale. In the 2010s, we leveraged connectivity and IoT to bring all the data farmers collected into the cloud. This data used to sit on binders on a shelf or was locked up on one of those desktop computers from 1997. By moving the data to the cloud, we have given farmers access to valuable, real-time information anywhere, allowing them to make more timely and informed decisions. Today, we're building on the foundation of the last 2 decades. We are now in a decade of advanced AI and computer vision that integrates precision tech and cloud-based data with robotics and CVML. While each of these technologies has transformed aspects of a farmer's job, the combination of them has generated significant value. And farmers are some of the earliest adopters of technology. as they've been side by side with John Deere and John Deere dealers every step of this multi-decade journey. And for those of you who don't know, our John Deere dealers are vital, trusted advisors who support farmers from season to season and across generations. I recently had the opportunity to join one of these amazing John Deere dealers to visit Travis Center Jr., a third-generation family farmer in Northeast Arkansas. Every year, Travis grows nearly 2.5 billion corn, soybean, cotton, or rice plants on about 20,000 acres. To put 20,000 acres into perspective, that's 40% larger than the size of Manhattan. And he manages this entire operation with just 34 machines and 20 full-time employees. How does Travis do all of that? Well, I'll let him tell you how technology enables this level of efficiency and precision.
I'm Travis Center. I'm a third-generation farmer from Kaiser, Arkansas. I grow cotton, corn, rice, and soybeans. Farming is a lot of hours. It's a lot of work. It's extremely more complex than when my father or my grandfather were running the farm. Every single day of the year I have something to do. And during planting and harvest, we'll work 16, 18-hour days until the job is done. You've got to do more with less these days. Deere's technology allows us to maximize every part of it. Everything from self-driving and automation to data and connectivity allows us to be more productive and efficient and save time and spend more time with our family. When we first started using GPS 20 years ago, it allowed you to drive straight, hands off the wheel. You can check markets, you can check weather. Automation and the sensors that are on the machines today make a lot of small changes that make a big impact. Machines allow us to put the seed exactly where it needs to go and to spray exactly where it needs to spray. Every machine is connected, everything is uploading data to the cloud. I have access to it whenever I want, no matter if I'm in the cab, the field, or a meeting, or away from the farm. 20 years of data collection has allowed us to look at past decisions and how that impacts the future. Cloud technology is very important. It allows me to actually analyze the data versus collect the data. And so I can use my phone to see every machine, to see every operation, and to use that information to make real-time adjustments. Deere's technology allows me to work faster, be more precise, and be more efficient. What I can accomplish in an hour that would have took my grandfather 2 or 3 days to do. I couldn't imagine farming without technology. It's critical in nearly every aspect that I do. Technology has changed farming, and it's changed my life.
Now that's the power of real technology on a real farm serving a real purpose. And this is what John Deere's employees, dealers, and customers work tirelessly to achieve for the global agriculture industry and for all of us. You see, technology in agriculture is not a convenience. It's a necessity. There are many real challenges farmers around the world are up against, like changing weather patterns, limited available labor, and rising costs for inputs like seeds and fertilizer. To illustrate why these challenges matter, let's talk about one of the many jobs that farmers do: planting. Planting seeds is one of the most important things to get right on the farm. To maximize yields while combating the weather, farmers must do this work within an extremely narrow window of time during the year. And they want to do it with precision so they can reduce the number of seeds they plant. While planting, sensors and advanced robots place each seed in the ground at a scale and precision beyond human capacity. With this technology, a farmer can plant thousands of seeds per second at a precise depth and distance from one another for optimal growth. And there's a real measurable outcome from using this technology. It's simple. If seeds aren't planted on time or in a precise fashion, farmers will see less grain harvested at the end of the season. And just 1 bushel of corn makes 38 boxes of cornflakes. At an average of 177 bushels of corn grown per acre in the US, that can add up quickly. Farming has been powered by data for decades, but now it's turbocharged by digitalization. In-field connectivity and IoT advancements have opened the door to an entirely new way of farming. The John Deere Operations Center is an opt-in cloud platform. It houses the data about their fields and their jobs that farmers have been collecting for years. Using the Operations Center, farmers draw insights, share data across their ecosystem of trusted advisors, and utilize apps from over 250 other software companies. This allows farmers to visualize their farm and make more informed decisions to benefit their operations. Decisions in the moment, like how deep to plant seeds. Decisions across a season as they determine what field to plant next. And decisions from year to year as they use last year's harvest data to determine what seeds to plant this year. With the types of advanced insights visualized by the John Deere Operations Center, farmers can even begin to create digital twins of their farms and test different scenarios. They can see what crops produce the best yield in each field and evaluate what to do in the future. These advancements in cloud technology, combined with sensors, computer vision, and robotics, are ushering in a new era of farm management. Moving from making broad decisions for an entire field to eventually precise plant-level management. Today, we are closer than ever to making it a reality that every year, farmers can individually treat each of the 3 trillion corn plants grown in the US. And today, taking that concept straight to reality, John Deere is revealing a new sensor and robotic technology to help farmers fertilize the plants as they put them in the ground. You see, plants rely on fertilizer just like you and I rely on food. Without it, plants wouldn't have the proper nutrition to produce the crops we rely on. Previously, I told you about the first critical job of producing a healthy, abundant crop, placing the seeds into the soil exactly where they need to go. That is just part of what farmers do during planting. We all learned in biology class that seeds need adequate air, water, and warmth to sprout and grow into plants. And it's no surprise that Mother Nature will rarely provide the perfect growing conditions that each seed needs. So, to help seeds quickly emerge out of the ground as plants, they need a jolt, just like I need a coffee in the morning. That is where starter fertilizer comes in. Many farmers apply starter fertilizer while planting. Today, based on technology available to them, they spray the fertilizer continuously down each row of seeds, even though only the seed needs the jolt. As of today, this is going to change. John Deere's new Exact Shot technology allows farmers to apply starter fertilizer precisely, at scale, with speeds up to 10 miles per hour, and only where the seeds are planted. This reduces the amount of starter fertilizer farmers need by more than 60%, while still allowing them to maintain the speeds they need to get the job done on time. Let's go through how this technology works. Today, a planter with 24 robots can plant 720 seeds of corn per second. The system moves through the field at twice the speed of legacy planters. And given the challenges of weather and labor, this is huge. On a good day, this single machine will plant 34 million corn seeds at precise placement and depth. While a farmer is planting seeds, a sensor will register when each individual seed is going into the ground. And the robotics will spray only the amount of fertilizer needed, about 0.2 milliliter, directly onto the seed at the exact moment it goes into the soil. The speed, synchronization, and precision at which this is happening in the field was previously unthinkable. The combination of sensors and robotics delivers a massive cost savings to the farmer and a significant benefit to the environment. Because in the process of growing corn today, fertilizer accounts for a large portion of total greenhouse gas emissions. That means ExactShot can have an immediate, measurable impact on our environment today. And that video is in slow motion. Now let's speed it up a little. And that's not even full speed. For those of you here at CES, visit our booth in West Hall, and you can see this technology in real time with your own eyes. This is the real purpose of our technology, to help farmers grow more with less through precision and data-driven decisions, while ensuring the land is cared for the next year and the next generation. And we have many, many more examples of how our technology accelerates the work farmers are doing. Now, let me turn it over to Julian Sanchez. Julian is always looking for the next technology that will help our customers. And today, he will explain more about how this real tech works.
Thanks, Deanna. There's so many ways today that real technology is being used to amplify our cognition and senses and plays a critical role in helping farmers. Today, I want to focus on one in particular, vision. Over the past decade, John Deere has taken enormous steps in advancing vision technology. Back in 2015, we launched our very first vision product. It used a stereo vision system and geometric model trained to detect the edges of a rectangular target. This helped farmers more accurately transfer crops from a harvester to an adjacent wagon to move the crop from field to market. In 2016, we released a vision system comprised of a monocular camera with a color detection algorithm. It detected where the crops were located within a field and complemented our GPS steering system by ensuring the equipment driving through a field didn't run over and damage the crops. Then, in 2018, we began using CVML to detect the quality of grain being harvested. To do this, we placed a camera feeding a deep convolutional neural network inside a combine. This system kept the mechanical part of the machine tuned for optimal performance, and it was our first experience gathering large data sets to train a machine learning model. Last year at CES, we unveiled our autonomous tractor. It uses CVML and 6 pairs of stereo cameras to detect and identify objects. Full autonomy required us to completely rethink how we train data sets. As all of you know, one of the keys to successful machine learning systems is having training data sets with representative events. But in agricultural environments, while there are ample corner cases, the frequency of notable events like obstacles in the middle of a field is low. So we turned the problem on its head, and we trained the vision system to be highly effective in detecting things that are always present, like the soil, tree lines, and the sky. If the tractor sees something that's not soil, tree lines, sky, it stops. Even if it's not sure what the object is, it's the safest thing to do. Now, autonomy was something that we've all been dreaming of for a while, but our newest technology is something that no one anticipated. In March of 2022, we launched See & Spray Ultimate. It uses CVML to detect where every weed is and applies herbicide only and exactly where it's needed. This is important because weeds steal valuable water and nutrients and sun from plants, and that prevents plants from reaching their full potential. Since the day self-propelled sprayers were introduced in 1947, farmers have been spraying the entire field to kill weeds because that's what the technology allowed them to do. even if certain areas didn't have any weeds. But with See and Spray technology, farmers can now spray only the weeds, which reduces the herbicide farmers need by up to 2/3. This may sound futuristic, but it's not. Farmers began using this technology last year. In one blink of an eye, a machine traveling fast enough to cover 3 football fields in 1 minute both identifies and sprays weeds smaller than your smartphone camera lens. Consider this level of precision compared to the past. This technology saves time and reduces cost while avoiding unnecessary impact to the crop and land. So, how did we make that happen? Machine vision. We gave the machine eyes, actually 36 of them, which are attached across the machine's 120-foot carbon fiber boom. And what you see on the screen behind me is life size. Pretty cool. Every second, these cameras scan more than 2,200 square feet of land and capture 1.2 billion pixels. If you try to match that level of sensing and processing with human eyes, it would take nearly 6,000 people. This doesn't just happen in a lab environment. This system performs its task while moving through uneven terrain and dusty fields and crosswinds. These cameras are sealed, ultra rugged, and can see both in sunlight and shade, so they can successfully operate in this harsh environment. Now, as you know, seeing doesn't just happen with eyes or with cameras. Sensors need a brain, and for that, we rely on advanced compute. On the screen behind me is an embedded controller that John Deere custom designed for See and Spray. 10 of these are attached to the sprayer, and they house NVIDIA GPUs that make sense of what the cameras see. These high-performance processors handle 4 gigabytes of data per second while operating in harsh environments and temperatures that often reach and sometimes exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit, all while being passively cooled. These harsh conditions must be taken into account when we develop technology. This system is one of the preeminent examples of cutting-edge technology, machine vision, and high-performance compute at the edge, operating in the harshest environments. And because our machines are used in rural environments where connectivity needs to be improved, edge computer enables the machine to make decisions with speed and accuracy based on high-resolution images of every single weed and plant. Now let's hear from Travis Center again about his experience using See and Spray on his farm.
The sprayer is one of the most important tools. A lot of people don't realize that weed pressure and weed control is an extreme problem we deal with. I would compare it to a bully. A weed is a bully to a plant. I want to eliminate all bullies from my farm. If I've got 2 billion plants, I've got 20 trillion weeds. My initial reaction when I saw See and Spray technology was it's a game changer that could potentially disrupt an entire market. Because I only want to apply the product that I'm trying to apply to a field where it needs to be. It detects a weed versus my plant. That allows me to save money and save time. The first time I operated the See and Spray Ultimate was extremely exciting. I was sitting on that machine and it's only spraying where it needs to spray. You'd be amazed at what it detects. It could be the smallest twig of grass that it will detect and spray. With that See and Spray Ultimate, we're able to get some weed pressure maps. We're able to get some data from that application that I can use in the future to make a decision. Do I need to target that area a little bit more in some other practices to minimize that problem? I've seen anywhere from 70% to 50% cost savings with the See and Spray Ultimate. If you can minimize herbicides that you use, it's going to be better for everyone. And with See and Spray Ultimate, you can do that with the technology to get the job done and to get it right.
Yes. One of the most exciting aspects of this vision technology is how we can use cameras to augment human vision. Human vision is really sophisticated. Our eyes, working with the visual cortex part of our brain, may be one of the most sophisticated systems in the universe. We're now at a point, though, where we can add superhuman capabilities with machine vision to help farmers perform tasks with precision. As we move into the future, vision will continue to be a critical technology. Since farming itself is very visual, we're always thinking about where we can give machines eyes and brains to help farmers do their job. We often brainstorm by asking ourselves a set of questions. What are the things that are visually meaningful to a farmer today? These are things that farmers already know they have to look for in the environment. And if a farmer could see something or somewhere they don't look at today, would it help them make a better decision? Then we ask ourselves, can computer vision help? We're just scratching the surface. But we aren't just looking to apply today's vision technology in its current state to farming. We're continuing to invest to advance it. We're well aware of the challenges associated with deploying vision systems into the wild, like maintaining the calibration of stereo systems or effectively estimating depth in complex environments. We're making great progress in solving these challenges as well. So, whether it's a self-driving tractor or a machine that detects and sprays only weeds, or the next major innovation that only exists in our lab today, vision will continue to transform agriculture, and John Deere is at the forefront of advancing these cutting-edge technologies. Now I want to introduce you to our Chief Technology Officer, Jamie Hyndman. He's going to share with you the impact of these real technologies.
Thank you, Julian. Hello, everyone. As you've heard from Deanna and Julian, our precision technology is having a major impact on farmers and their operations. But if you take a step back and you look at the real impact that this technology is having to improve the environmental sustainability of agriculture on a global scale, it's truly amazing. As John mentioned earlier, today there are more than 500,000 John Deere connected machines that run across more than a third of the Earth's land surface. Stop for a minute and think about that. Deere machines are literally in every corner of our planet. And while these machines are doing important jobs, they're also collecting and transmitting critical data that farmers and construction workers use to make more informed decisions. But in addition to helping our customers, this technology and data is also having a major positive impact on our environment. And in the future, that impact will only increase. Let's talk about a few examples. Today, farmers growing corn on the 90 million acres in the US apply about 140 million gallons of that in-furrow starter fertilizer every year to help those seeds turn into productive plants. With ExactShot, which Deanna just introduced, we can reduce the amount of fertilizer needed by more than 60%. That's 93 million gallons. Based on today's commodity prices, this can save farmers $650 million on input costs. But it also prevents that wasted fertilizer from encouraging weed growth or increasing the risk of running off the field and into a waterway. In addition to fertilizer, US farmers also use more than 23 million gallons of herbicides annually in the United States for weed management. Using See and Spray technology, which Julian just told you about, we can reduce that by up to 2/3. That's 15 million gallons of herbicide. This could save US farmers roughly $1 billion based on today's input prices. As you've seen today, the real impact of the precision technology that's now available to farmers really affects everyone. And our technology isn't only being used in agriculture. It's also critical in construction and in road building. Last year, John Deere equipment was responsible for paving over 500,000 lane miles of road. That's enough road to circle this planet 20 times. Using the technology John Deere has available today, those lane miles can instead be installed using our cold in-place recycling methods and equipment, which save up to 90% of that new road material. This has the potential to save up to 1 billion tons of asphalt production and 53 million tons of CO2 equivalent. These are just 3 examples of the real impact our technology is having and will continue to have on a global scale, improving efficiency, economics, and sustainability for our customers. Now, speaking of roads, there are a lot of electric vehicles on display here at CES, and while I'd love to get behind the wheel and drive them around, or maybe better yet, have them do that for me on one of those perfectly paved roads, I think we should first have a conversation about sustainable energy. Some of you may find this statement a bit controversial, but the path to a sustainable future does not rely only on electrification to power our vehicles. Biofuels like ethanol and renewable diesel, which may be created from plants, must be just as much a part of the solution, because large-scale electrification of high-horsepower equipment faces steep technical challenges that make an electric-only future unlikely in the near term. You see, on the farm, we're dealing with large, powerful, and highly automated or autonomous machines that run continuously for more than 12 hours a day. And they're not just driving from point A to point B. They're also performing a number of jobs that require extreme precision and a significant amount of power. A typical day's work for the 8R tractor, like the one you see behind me, includes operating continuously for 14 hours at 75% of its peak power, about 230 kilowatts. That's the energy equivalent of 38 Tesla Model 3 long-range batteries. Or in different terms, 15,000 liters in volume and over 48,000 pounds. To put that in perspective, that battery would double the weight and size of the tractor today at 4 times the existing cost of the tractor to produce the amount of energy required. These changes would lead to negative agronomic impacts on the farm, like excessive soil compaction. You may not realize, but biofuels produced from corn or soybean feedstocks such as ethanol and renewable diesel produce about 50% less greenhouse gas emissions compared to their petroleum-based counterparts. Using today's precision farming practices and the current US grid power generation, biocarbon intensity rivals that of electrification. Additionally, future advancements in precision agriculture technology and sustainable agricultural practices, just like the ones you've heard about today, will create significant opportunity to further reduce the carbon intensity of biofuels. You see, biofuels support a circular economy where a farmer can utilize a portion of the crops that they grow, like sustainably grown grains and oilseeds, to power the very machines that they use. Those biofuels aren't limited to John Deere machines. They can power everything from cars to semis to airplanes, reducing carbon emissions and the pressure on all of our natural resources. And our excitement for the future of biofuels shouldn't take anything away from electrification. The Boolean operator here is and. The world benefits from all of these solutions to meet our global clean energy needs. In the construction industry in particular, electrification is going to have an enormous impact on both workers and communities around the world. The lower noise of electrified construction equipment in urban areas allows the work to begin earlier and to end later. This causes less societal disruption, and it creates a safer work site through an improved ability for the workers to communicate on the job. This will result in projects getting completed faster, all while eliminating those combustion emissions in those heavy urban environments. John Deere accelerated its focus on electrification last year when we acquired a majority stake in Kreisel Electric, the global leader in immersion-cooled battery technology. The future will bring electrified technology to enable homeowners, farmers, construction workers, and road builders to do their job more efficiently, more economically, and more sustainably. And on display at John Deere's booth in West Hall, you can see that brand new electric excavator. It's powered by a Kreisel battery, and we're revealing it here today. Through our work with Kreisel, we've invested significantly in industrial applications of patented battery technology that provide high performance and a longer battery life. They also have charging technology that results in a faster and a lower cost connection to the electrical grid. Overall, John Deere is focused in 4 areas of change in power generation: biofuels, battery electric, hybrid electric, and advancements to internal combustion engines. And the reason that we're focused on all 4 of those rather than just one is because we need to meet the economic and efficiency needs of our global customers, and because that's what it will take to meet the carbon reduction goals in our LEAP ambitions that John mentioned earlier. These ambitions are specific, measurable goals that align to our customers' operations to boost both economic value and sustainability and to deliver better outcomes. Deere technologies aren't impacting just a small part of our world. They're impacting the entire planet. Exact shot, see and spray, biofuels, electrification, and autonomy. These technologies are ready for large-scale use to improve outcomes for our customers, to create the food, fuel, and infrastructure that we all need, and to improve our planet for future generations. We're helping our customers do more with less. That is the real impact of our precision technology. John, over to you.
Thanks, Jamie. CES 2023 is focused on how technology is helping solve the world's most pressing challenges. At John Deere, we're not in the business of creating technology just because it's cool, though it is really cool. We create technology to address specific challenges, problems, or needs. Real purpose, real technology with a real impact. Everything you've been told about checks those boxes in all 3 of them. And there's a higher purpose connected to all of it. Technology is the key to driving sustainability on the farm and construction sites and empowering our customers to be more efficient and profitable in the face of significant challenges. That's why we've developed robotics that leverage machine learning and computer vision. This technology is good for our customers' business, for the planet, and for all of us. And I would like to personally thank all of our employees, dealers, and customers around the world, including the real farmers you saw in all 3 of our videos today. They love their land, use this technology, and are with us in person, sitting in the front row. So some of them will be with us in our West Hall booth, and if you want to come by and meet them, I'd strongly encourage you to do that. Please join me in thanking them for providing all of us, year after year, generation after generation. Thank you so much. Real purpose, real technology, real impact. That's why we run, and we're just getting started.